but an F for lying about his home address, since 201 Alhambra Circle was a big glass building, the Ponce de Leon Plaza, where his former wife's lawyer had his offices. It wasn't more than a mile from where Moran had lived during the 7 years of the marriage. If Nolan Tyner did live in Coral Gables, or had an office there, and he liked to sit outside in the afternoon and drink beer, why didn't he go to Bayfront Park? Why come all the way up to Pompano, an hour's drive, pay $30 for a room, and then sit outside? Which the guy was doing now, lying in a lounge chair on the afternoon shady side of the pool, holding a can of beer on his chest, moving it almost in slow motion when he'd take a sip. Wearing his sporty safari shirt, but also wearing, Moran noticed, very unsporty black socks with his open-toed sandals. If he wasn't meeting a woman here, and after about an hour and 3 cans of beer it didn't look like it, then he was either hiding or looking for action. But if he was hiding, he'd stay inside, wouldn't he? And if he was looking for action, and had heard something about the Coconut Palms Secretary Specials, advertised twice a year in big city papers up north, it was possible he'd come with the idea of picking up some poor secretary who was here by herself, bored out of her mind. Except that October was a very lean month for secretaries compared to February and March, and the guy had not said anything clever or hinted around about looking for girls. So maybe he was looking for somebody in particular. And if that was the case, without checking the guest chart, Moran knew who it would be. Not the secretaries from Dayton in number 3, not the ones from Fort Wayne in 4, or the elderly couple who wanted 7 so they could keep an eye on their Buick parked on the street. No, it would have to be the afternoon lovers in number 1, the lower oceanfront apartment. They had been meeting here every afternoon except the weekend for the past 8 days. The young Cuban-looking guy who wore rings and chains, gold-rimmed sunglasses up in a nest of thick hair, and the stylish woman who was about 10 years older than the guy and probably married to a Cuban businessman in Miami. The guy had signed in Mario Prado, and Moran, taking in the guy's glistening hairdo, said, "Haven't I seen you on TV?" Mario Prado said, "Yeah, he did guest shots on Tony Marvin's show. He was playing cocktail piano at the Sheraton in Palm Beach." His manner so bored, relaxed, Moran was afraid the guy might collapse, melt into a puddle of grease. Mario took number 1 oceanfront for a month, paid $1,500 cash in advance, without Moran asking for it, and the mystery woman appeared a short time later. Mario Prado waited on the street, sunglasses over his eyes now, until the gray Mercedes pulled up. He took a case of champagne out of the trunk. After that, they arrived separately each afternoon, between 1 and 2, and usually left about 5, not much later. Neither of them ever spent the night. One time, a few days ago, the woman arrived on schedule, but the piano player failed to show. Moran watched her come out of number 1 to stand by the low cement wall that separated the yard from the beach, the woman in a white sundress and heels, her dark hair shining in the sunlight, tied back with a violet scarf. She had her arms folded and seemed impatient, though she didn't move much. Moran went out in his T-shirt and cutoffs to get a look at her. He said, "Mrs. Prado, how are you today?" She appeared to be in her late 30s, about Moran's age, stylishly thin, holding a languid model pose now, wrist bent on her hip, as she studied Moran from behind big, round, violet-tinted sunglasses. "That's not my name," the woman said with an edge, but only the hint of an accent. "It's the name your husband signed," Moran said. "My husband?" the woman said. "You think that's my husband?" "Well, whoever you are, we're glad to have you," Moran said. "You like me to put some music on? We've got outside speakers." "I'd like you to beat it and leave me alone," the woman said, and turned to look at the ocean. She had a nice profile, thin, straight nose, her hair pulled back tight to show round white earrings. "Well, enjoy your stay," Moran said, and got out of there. He couldn't imagine her being much fun. Maybe that was why they brought all the champagne, get her loosened up.